What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Just some weekly updates here. Getting a lot of stuff done. We got the S10 done. I don't know if I posted pictures on Facebook or not. That one is done and it's out of here. Our chassis jig's kind of empty right now. I've been working on Mike's car, getting some final details wrapped up. Working on a fuel cell right now. Should be like 3.5 gallon fuel cell. So getting that wrapped up so we can get the front end done. Got the radiator mounted up underneath. That's why all the back tins out of it again. Had to weld a few places on that too. And then waiting on some flanges so I can make a steering wheel extension. It's a little tough to get in right now because it's, you know, it's back to here. So this little jig kind of holds where we want the steering shaft to go. So that'll be the next task that I tackle on that end. So just some updates on that, and the guys on the other side are getting the welded chassis for Justin that you saw in the last video. They are getting that wrapped up. Mark's working on the anti-roll bar, and Kevin's working on the roof structure right now. We'll have that. I'll probably start welding on that in the next couple days. So this is the empty chassis jig right now. We've got a car sitting outside waiting to go on it. Just trying to wrap up that welded chassis. Kind of before we start on the next project. Not much else going on. The cage kit's kind of slowed up a little bit, like I was talking about the last week. It was a little madness in the past month with the cage kits, but they slowed up a little, so that let Gavin get back on the welded chassis. So we've been knocking stuff out. Got a little work done on the shop car. I think the last episode you guys saw was, I believe, putting the car back on the chassis, and then getting the 4-link bar set. So kind of haven't done much else, just kind of sitting there. We did get the front end kind of situated where we wanted it. That's why it's sitting up on blocks right now. Cutting out some of this stuff. Cut out another 16 pounds, I think it was. So it, you know, it's almost a 400-pound chassis with a shell on it. So we got a design for this ready to go. I think we're just going to run 2 long down bars, continue off of this straight forward. That way we can tie the front end together, and that's kind of the next major hurdle. Just getting time to work on that. After that, we're just going to start working on probably the tin or the carbon tubs, getting the rear end situated. Kind of have to figure out something to do with the fuel cell. We'll probably be running 2 fuel cells, one like 3 gallon in the front, and then probably a 10 or 12 in the rear for Rocky Mountain Race Week. Don't really know what's gonna go on back there because we wanted to put the radiator into here, but now we got a fuel cell. It's gonna kind of sit flat here and then come up. So there's just a lot of stuff to shove in not very many places. So that is the next challenge to tackle. Get the steering shaft set. Yeah, just we're getting to the little detail stuff until we start mounting the motor and turbo and stuff. Right, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 pounds of stuff.
Yep. Yep.
5 pound back.
Yeah, getting that roof structure going. See how straight it is. Ooh, clicks into place like Legos. except just really difficult Legos.
You gotta make each Lego.
Yeah. Mark's got his fancy magnets going on over here.
Yeah.
Except for Gavin's tapping the whole thing and moving the cover around.
Everybody makes fun of me for my magnets.
So Mark did make a fancy jig back here to hold the back. So this jig wasn't really meant for our welded chassis. It was meant for a full-size car. Just makes it easier when there's not a huge overhang here. So this is usually where the rear end sits. But now that we're just doing them for welded chassis, we don't really have anywhere to set this back. So he made these cool slider deals. And they also have these front ones, which aren't being used right now, but this is what we had before. And he made these. So these ones are gonna go back on that chassis jig so we can put a full-size car. You guys saw our clamps last time. They clamp on the pinch weld. They're really dirty right now, but they clamp on the pinch weld, and that way we can hold the whole car up there without moving it while we cut out the floor. So I will keep you guys updated, and Gavin will get this entire cage done. So. What's up, everyone? So I thought I would go over what we use as far as like CAD and modeling software, because we do use a fair amount of it. So I thought I'd take the time and just show you what we kind of our work process and how we go about doing it. We're in my office right now, which is currently shop car storage and hoodie storage. apparel storage. So I'm just gonna show you guys what we use, how we go about doing it. Hopefully it answers some questions, because I get some of these coming from people that want to know where, how we do stuff. So I guess this is part of the reason why we started the channel, was to kind of show you guys what goes into it. A lot of people don't get to see the behind the scenes stuff, so this kind of makes it easier so everyone can see it. So I guess we'll start with SolidWorks. So this is what we use for modeling, like our let me see here, I'll open up something. So all of our fabricated housings are made in Bentech or SolidWorks. So here is our Foxbody housing. So here is our Foxbody housing. Had to get it opened. So as you can see, it's all modeled in SolidWorks. This is all drawn by us, or I do most of the modeling. As you can see, I was modeling some bushings in there. We had to get these CNC cut recently, so just wanted to check the clearances on them. But that's pretty much how we do all of our tabs, hard parts, stuff like that. Let me see what else we got in here. We pretty much all of our, like I said, all of our tabs. Let me find something else here that you guys be interested in. I need to get a little bit more organized with these, but like here's our floor mounting strips. These are a design I was working on, so we can fold them like so and weld in between them. Instead of welding them together and then welding them to the tube, they would be welded. They'd be welded like this, so you have a little slot to weld it. So that's pretty much it for SolidWorks. It's really, it's pretty basic. I taught myself how to use it in college. We actually used AutoCAD in college, and I was not a fan at all. So I kind of got SolidWorks and just kind of started with that. I somehow got a copy of it in college for free, and I'd been using that for a while. We just recently had to actually buy SolidWorks, so it wasn't the cheapest. I think it was $5,600 for to buy the software, and then it's $1,200 a year, so that it was 45 whatever, or 4,000 whatever, and some change, and then $1,200 a year for maintenance. So that kind of keeps you up to date. So whenever we get the next one, next year we'll have 2022. So it kind of keeps us up to date. We get all the new features and stuff like that. And if you didn't have the update every year, then if you wanted to update, say 2024, you'd have to back pay all those years, which I was not a fan of. So we just went ahead and did the $1,200 a year, just to get it over with. This is pretty invaluable. I use this almost every day. It's that fuel cell that you guys were just watching. I actually drew that up in here. I didn't finish it, but it is mostly complete. Let me see if it opens or not. Let's see here. There we go. It's throwing fits, but oh, here it is. Jeez, all the way over here. There we go. So that's the fuel cell that I was drawing. Obviously I can stomp out this shape and I can stomp out that top, and it's not a big deal. But everything else, like these angles, were pretty specific. So it took an hour to draw it up. I have way less time in drawing it up than I would stomping it out, guessing all the angles. So this, I just I can go in, pick an angle, and then I know what that angle is. So like that one down there, that's an 18-degree angle. So I know what it's bent to, and I don't really have to struggle with it. So that's kind of SolidWorks. It makes life a lot easier. We send if we're doing a tab or something that's going to laser. I mean, even if we do our rear end housings, everything gets put into like a DXF format and then sent off to the laser cutting. They take care of that end, and we get it back as a solid part. So that's kind of SolidWorks. It's very useful. We'd like to get more in depth with it with our chassis and be able to dimension out certain tabs on the chassis so we don't have to mock it up with an actual tab. I can see it on here without even touching any metal or anything, so save some time and kind of be able to build something without building it, if that makes sense. So the next CAD software we use is Bentech. So this is all of our tubing design and chassis design. We have pretty much every car we've ever done drawn up. The Foxbodies are a lot more refined, and that's why we're able to do the welded chassis. And any of the kits we have are pretty well refined cage kits that we've done on multiple cars. I'm real hesitant to do. If we have a car come in, we build a cage for it, we use that data and have a cage kit. I usually like to get 2 of the cars in, 2 of the same make to double check. There's a different way about doing Bentech where you can kind of throw tubes together in it, go out in the car, make it work, all's good. And then there's ways, if you were to go in, bend the bar, fit the bar, and then make sure all your dimensions are accurate to Bentech, makes bending tubes a lot easier. It's just the flow, the process of it, how it works. So if you don't put the tube to the dimension in Bentech, then if you go and build another tube off of that, and that tube that's in the car is not in the right spot, then you're kind of stuck because you don't have an accurate drawing. You're just kind of throwing tubes together. So I'll kind of show you. Sorry, they're out there notching tubes, so I'll kind of, hopefully you'll be able to hear this. So this is Bentech. Let's set you down here. And this is what we use for all of our cage design. This cage that you're seeing currently, let me get this rotated up, there we go. So this cage you're seeing currently is our welded chassis, but it's been adapted to fit the seat in the shop car. So obviously you can tell it's a pretty wide set. I actually don't even have this modeled because we just kind of put it in there, but it's a pretty wide. This is a lot wider than normal. But we also have the frame rails modeled in there. This is how the front end is going to be. This is actually the bar of the K-member. This will be on the front, right behind the front bumper. So we're going to run these bars through the strut tower down. But we pretty much have every cage in here. This is kind of our 4-link chassis. So that's pretty much it for Bentech. It's a lot different than SolidWorks. SolidWorks works on planes and reference geometry. This works on pick points. So pick points, let me bring them up here. So here's all the pick points. So it's basically just, you dimension a pick point out. And then, so like this one's on the apex of that curve right there. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. There's a lot that goes into it. It's probably taken me 2 years to get it real familiar with it, where I can whip something together real quick. But we have pretty much everything in here. Here is that 25.4 S10 chassis that we just finished up. So it's in here. That's exactly the same cage. It's missing a couple bars because they're just straight tubes and we can draw those later, but that's the same exact chassis that's in there. Let me see what else we got. Here is our 25.3 F-body kit. So this is what we send out for the kit for Camaros, 98 through 02 Camaros, or I guess 97 through 02 Camaros, for a 25.3. So this software is a lot cheaper. I think it's only $300. There's a couple add-ons that we have. We had the sheet metal, which didn't really work for us because we have SolidWorks, so we kind of dropped that. But this is, you know, a pretty cheap software. It just takes some getting used to. There's a lot of I don't know, little tidbits of, I guess, info that you come across. You're like, oh wow, that, you know, that helps a lot. So those are pretty much the two softwares that we use, or programs that we use for designing, you know, tabs, rear end housings, our full chassis. We can take Bentech and put it into SolidWorks. So we do have a couple modeled in SolidWorks. We're getting kind of into that now that we have, you know, 2021. We're gonna start really crunching on those, being able to design stuff in SolidWorks before we even cut any tubes or anything. That's kind of where everything's headed anyway. Everything's computerized. So, like I said, it takes some learning. It's not too terrible, but that's kind of an insight on what we use day to day.